I am Tom Cohen, I think. I am the head conductor and artistic director of an orchestra called the Jerusalem Orchestra East and West. And I am artistic director of some festivals, and I'm also very privileged and honored to be the artistic director, the musical director, and the head conductor of a Moroccan orchestra called Symphoniat. In my life, I was a part of a movement that aimed to create a new musical language that is a combination of all the jewels and all the beautiful things that we find both in Western music with its harmonies and its magnificent architecture, and in the Arabic music and what we call the MENA region, the music of the Middle East and North Africa, and the beauty that comes from its passion and soul and interesting rhythms and the world of maqam. And by fusing these two languages together, by knowing them, learning them, and trying to know them as best as I can, and by understanding where they meet and where they differ, I was able to create, together with many other people, a new musical language that combines the two. And in a way is supposed to transmit the music to, okay, so let's say it in these words. If you know, let's say for example I deal with the music of Salim Halali. If I rearrange it with the language that we've invented, if you don't know the music of Salim, if you know, sorry, the music of Salim Halali from your history and from your home, you are supposed to appreciate very much the new outfit it's got. But if you don't know the music at all, and for you it is the first time you ever meet the music of Salim Halali, I'm supposed to be helping with my arrangements for you to cross this aesthetic bridge that usually somebody that is not steeped within the culture of North Africa in this case will not be able to understand immediately why this music is classical, why is it so high, and why am I supposed to be so much enchanted by it. So basically I'm taking both of very big loves that I have, both have love for music but very different styles of music, and try to combine them into one passion, and that in many ways became my life goal, I guess, and what defines my artistic career for sure. identity is a subject that I deal with a lot, all the time, but especially in the last months. I was born in a house where my traditions, where my cultures came from very different places. Both my parents were born in Israel, but the parents of my father both came from Iraq, while the parents of my mother came from England and Poland. So inside the house was this very interesting mix of cultures. If I take it to the musical part, we could hear the classical music of Camille Saint-Saëns, or the Russian and the Romanian songs that came from the kibbutz that my mom grew up in, together with the music of Muhammad Abdel Wahab, Abdel Halim Hafez, Kulthum. When I add to this the neighborhood in which I grew in, I grew up in the neighborhood in a city in the desert in the south of Israel called Be'er Sheva, and in a neighborhood that was very largely or mainly populated with immigrants from North Africa. And in a way, a big part of my childhood was also without having any, let's say, a blood relation that I know of, but from a very young age, North African music, Moroccan and Algerian music was very much present also as a part of my childhood. And I guess that these all these influences, together with the fact that I've studied Western classical music in the conservatoire, and I received, like any other boy of my age, I grew up in the 80s, all the pop music that came from the States, rock music and rap music and hip hop, and all of these genres together led me to want to create a language. Now, it's very important for me to say one thing. I mentioned this musical language also in the first question, and I'm coming back to it. And it's very important for me to say, even though I'm talking about it as it is something new, I don't feel that I'm a part of a revolution. Meaning, I don't think that I need to erase or destruct what was before me and move in a new way. Exactly on the contrary. I feel that I am lucky to be another a part of the evolution of this music. So if until this day it evolved in one way, I am suggesting, together with my friends and colleagues, a possible route that it can or may take as well, or is taking as well. And in this route, we are trying to mix it and blend it with all the other influences that anyway are influencing it also in North Africa itself, but today this melting pot, because of the way we can communicate with each other, like this interview, this melting pot is becoming more international and more wide. I feel that a big part of my identity is both my Jewish side. I feel, and even though I grew up in a very, very secular home, both my father and my mother are not religious people in any way, and still I grew up somehow. I don't know if it's because of my neighborhood, because of my grandparents, or just because of my personal, I don't know, path, but I grew up to feel very, very Jewish and to be very much interested in my Jewish roots. Having said that, I also feel that the Arabic culture is a very big part of my identity. It's such a big part that if you take it away, I don't think my identity stays the same. I cannot even think of myself as the same person. And because it is very important for me to not only to say it to myself, but also to send the message out to other people that being Jewish and being Arab are not contradictory, On the contrary, these are two things that not only can live together, but do exist and do live together. If I think of characters that I love and admire, if I think of my grandfather, Allah Irhamo, he was both Jewish 100% and Arab 100%. And he didn't need or wanted or even had to choose of thinking between the two. And I think that today we live in times, especially with everything going on now in my homeland, I feel we live in times where this complicated identity is crucial, and it must be a part of a solution that we need to get to, because a big part of my job is to play these people, to play this music, to people who maybe have a very hard political opinions, or maybe disagree with me on very deep levels, but at the same time, this music and these songs and this language and this feeling and this food and this atmosphere is their home as well. And it's not only their home, it's their parents and it's their grandparents and it's their identity. And if we manage to bring this to the surface, even though at the end of the day, and you will probably will get to that also with other questions, all the songs in the world don't have the effect of one bomb that falls down, unfortunately. But at the same time, if we manage to surface all this that we share with our neighbors, we do get somehow closer to being able or to being willing to find a solution. I cannot say that all of my music has one message. I can say that first and foremost, I want people to enjoy. I want to touch people, and this is stronger than anything else. I mean, before I have philosophies or ideologies or opinions that I want to convey, I want you as a listener to be impressed and enjoy what I do. First of all, I want you to be happy with it or sad, to be moved, to want to dance or to want to close all the lights and the music and just be able to listen. But I want you to go through some sort of emotional experience. After that stage comes also other ideas that I think I've already expressed in the first two questions. I am very, very much deeply interested in looking beyond. Okay, I come from a region that for the last 100 years or maybe a bit less, we have an ongoing war between two people that want to have that claim that they need to have all the space around. And I want to remind these people without even I don't think that I have solutions, and I'm not a leader, and I'm not a politician, and I'm not a statesman, but I do want to remind people that if you go back into last century, not that long ago, you go back to times where Jewish people, both of course in Morocco is still an example for coexistence, but not only in Morocco, but also in Egypt, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Syria, all of these countries, the Jews were a very important factor of life in general and the cultural life specifically. And Jews and Muslims lived well together, and not only that they managed to coexist without fighting, also they created beautiful stuff, they created beautiful music, to talk about the subject that brings me here, but also other stuff that brought the world to a better place, that made the world a better place. And I would like to just put this option up there. I will not start arguing with anybody, and I don't have solutions, and it's very easy to talk like this when you don't have to take decisions by yourself about the future of so many people. But at the same time, I think that as an artist and as a thinker, my not only my wish, but also I must present this option and remind people, whether they are leaders or just common people listening to my music, that this option of peace, of living together, of making each other more fruitful and create beauty together exists.
مسافر وحدك يا مسافر وحدك وفايتني ليه تبعد عني ليه تبعد عني وتشغل ودعني من غير ما تسألني وكفاية قلبي أنا مسلم ودعني من
So first of all, there is a beautiful story. It's like a metaphor, and it talks about an argument between a German philosopher and let's say for our sake a German philosopher and a Moroccan philosopher. Okay, this one represents the culture of the West, and this one represents the culture of the Arab world. The German philosopher says to the Moroccan one, what is your music compared to ours? Our music, the German, is like an ocean, and next to this ocean, your music is like a drop. So the Moroccan philosopher answers the German, you know what? Even if you are right, I mean, you are not right, but even if you are right, your whole ocean is water, and our drop is a tear. And this for me, this metaphor for me, says it all about my connection to Arabic music. It's true that from Western music, I have learned methods and ways to touch the human soul that exists in no other style of music. But at the same time, there is something in the core, in the essence of Arabic music, and it's very general, you know, because the music from Iraq is not the same like the one from Egypt, it's not the same like the one from Syria, and for sure it's not the same like the one from the Maghreb, but still all of these styles of music have in their core this something that touches you, regardless if you are a professor in the university or a simple man like me. You know, it doesn't matter if you when you come to enjoy Beethoven or Brahms, you better come with the knowledge that you've acquired beforehand. You better listen many times to this work and understand the different versions of it in order to identify the small things that make it beautiful. When you deal with the Muwal by, I already said Salim Halali, so now I will say another name by Zohar Al-Fassia, for example, you immediately feel something in your belly that I cannot put the words on exactly, but I know that I cannot ignore it. And my job is to, or my mission is to try and find this very rare point that you feel in your belly and to wrap it up with all the beauty that I've learned with my years in Western music. Well, there are two things I have to say. First of all, about working with singers, and second of all, about working with Muslims and Jews. First of all, I must say that, and this is something that always surprises people, both on the Jewish side and on the Muslim side. We are so much alike. When I work with a Moroccan singer and an Israeli singer, both are so much closer to each other than when I work with somebody from the Netherlands or from Germany. The people are so close to each other, the way we react, the way we act, the things that make us excited, the things that make us angry, are so similar that sometimes it's impossible to imagine that these people are not allies in everything. but that they are somehow in a conflict. It's sometimes when you think about it from the outside, it just doesn't make sense at all because we are so similar. I've played many times with people from Lebanon, from Syria, from Iran, obviously from Morocco. Morocco is a second home for me. And not only I don't feel different from these people, but I feel so much more close to them than, for example, the people that live here in Belgium. I speak to you now from Brussels, where I live. I live here for the last 10 years. I can tell you that when I meet people from Syria or Iraq, I feel a lot closer to them.
جيت نعود لك ما كان يا سيد الدين عندي مرض الماني راني معاها في الحكاية شرع بيني وبينها وحكم باللي كان أنا راضي بالحكاية يا سيد الديان.
The second thing is something that has nothing to do with religion, and it's about the work with singers. Singers are very interesting characters because they sell a product that is themselves. And it's a very interesting and complicated place to be in ego-wise. And this is why my job as a conductor is very intimate and it's very specific with them. And one of the moments that I love the most with singers, especially the big ones, you know, I saw it when I performed with Latif Arafat last year in Casablanca. I've seen it when I worked with Enrico Macias or with Rashid Taha, Allah Yerhamo. These big names, they come with a lot of confidence, and at the same time, they and only they know where are their weaknesses. Me as a conductor, it is my job to understand very, very quickly what are their weaknesses and to help them and to, in a way, protect them so their weaknesses will never be exposed. And this process that we go on together on stage without talking, this is not a verbal process. It's something that happened during the work. I identify a place where the singer could have missed a note or lost a beat or feel unconfident or insecure. It's too high, it's too low. He doesn't understand or she doesn't understand the arrangement of the beat. It is my job to understand where they have a weakness and to help them cross over this weakness with the most confident possible. The moment that they understand that I've seen their weakness, and not only I'm not taking advantage, I'm respecting them and I'm helping them protect, this is the moment where they become open completely to me and we can collaborate, and that's the moment where the most beautiful things artistically can happen on stage. My whole journey in Morocco is thanks to my friend and brother and partner Karim Taisir, who is the artistic director and the founder together with me of Symphoniat. And everything that I've did in Morocco is very much thanks to him and to his dream and to his fantasies, and without it I would never imagine that it can happen. Unfortunately, being Israeli, and even though I have a Belgian passport as well, it is a bit dangerous for me to visit the Arab world still. The only places I did go to and to play music, obviously, were the Emirates, Dubai, where I performed in the last expo, and Turkey, which is not Arab, but it's a part of the Muslim world, where I won in 2021 the award for Best Musical Project of 2021. I was invited in the past both to Egypt and Jordan, but unfortunately it never happened. These things are always complicated, and you know, we hope constantly, we constantly hope that the situation will get to a point where it will be possible to perform there. And not only that, I constantly remind myself that the Cold War between China and the US ended with a group of ping pong players from the US, a delegation of ping pong players flying to Beijing. So I don't play ping pong, but I would really love to get a chance to play in the Arab world in front of Arab audience in more countries because the experience that I have in Morocco each time I come is something that I cannot explain. It's something that is bigger than me. It's like I feel thousands of years go through my body when I'm on stage and when I feel the love of the Moroccan people, and I would love to try it out in other Arab countries. I can tell you even, and this is, I will not say names obviously, but more than once I've had conversations with very big artists from the Arab world that would really much want to work with me and would want me to arrange their music or compose for them and love what I do and watch it online. You can see that my videos are very popular online, and I can see also the statistics, so I can see where in the world they are popular online. And unfortunately, I know that for now it is impossible, and I pray for the political situation to change in a way that we can unite together, me and my potential audiences around the Arab world.
راحت ومشات علاش وعلاش خدت عقلي خلتني بلاش كيفاش نواس قولي كيفاش راحت ومشات علاش وعلاش راحت ومشات علاش وعلاش خدت عقلي كيفاش نواسي راحت ومشات
Unfortunately, I don't think that music can bring peace. And it's a very sad understanding because I think that peace is the thing we need the most in the world in general, but especially between Israelis and Palestinians. The only solution for war is peace. It's not even a political opinion, it is just math, it is just logic. It's either peace or war. And I think that between these two, the Jewish religion is very clear. Our goal and our mission is Redof Shalom Uvaksheu. You need to chase after peace and ask for it constantly. And I think that as Jews, this should be something that, however traumatized we are and however hurting we are from what is done to us, we need to continue remembering our heritage and look for this peace, because this is the only way we can save not only ourselves but the whole world. To be honest, Zur, I will tell you, and this is something, and maybe I was supposed to speak to you, but the whole world actually changed in a few months ago, and we never came back to our... I started working on a project called Le Grand Projet de Shabi. And for me, I wanted to make, and I still want, I'm just waiting for the time to be a bit more calm. I want to make a very, very big project of taking the best, most known Moroccan Shabi songs, whether they're from Jewish origin or not, and to give them new versions in a way both for the Moroccan people to meet my musical language, but also for the people in Europe to meet Moroccan music in a way that is more communicative, to help the young generation to relive the music that their grandparents and their parents love. And in general, just because I think it's amazing music, and I think that I wanted to do something with 10 different singers from all over Morocco, singing in 10 different styles, because even Moroccan Shabi is such a huge definition for so many different styles that we can imagine. And unfortunately I have to wait a bit with this. I'm doing many other projects. Obviously, I'm writing music now for Zaguri Imperia, the third season. Zaguri Imperia is the most successful Israeli television show ever, and it's actually a very interesting one, talking about a Moroccan Jewish family living in Be'er Sheva, the city where I grew up in. So I wrote the music for the first 2 seasons, and now we are doing the 3rd season. I'm doing concerts with my orchestra constantly. I was invited to the Gnawa Festival in Essaouira, but unfortunately I don't think it will happen this year, but hopefully next year. And I'm doing many different things. A project with Mehdi Nasuli, Karim Ziad and Omri Moore with the Metropole Orchestra and many other projects. But this big Sha'abi project is what I constantly think of, and I'm really looking forward for the time to relax a bit the situation, so I can go back to dreaming about this and trying to make it happen.